Well, hello. Hello, everybody, ladies and gents. How are we doing today? Everybody good?
We are wonderful.
I'm talking to my guests. Yeah, I was like, talking to my guests. All right, welcome to week 2. This is our official show since we did our live draft last week of Queen's Ransom. We are a all-women's fantasy football league, and we've got some fine gentlemen joining us this week, but we also have a special guest, and we're going to lead right into that after I just let you know today's episode falls on a day of remembrance for those that were alive when it happened. We will never forget. So we're going to have a special segment at the end of this episode featuring we're going to honor thy veterans. That's going to be veterans that played in the NFL after post 9/11, as well as the veterans that did really well for us last week. All right. So let's get into it. I want to introduce my guests. Actually, Brian and Bigz, why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourselves? Where can we find you? Give us some info on yourselves. Go ahead, Bigz.
Oh, okay. No, host said me. My name is Brendan. You can call me Bigz. I'm at BigBonedFFB on Twitter, and you can find my stuff on Fantasy Sports Advice Network, Fantasy Football Advice Network on YouTube, The Undroppables, Player Profiler, and Player Profiler News, and Fantasy Football Plus, where I do the Dynasty Pulse with my Player Profiler and FSAN partners, Schultze and Greinberg, and we're everywhere.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Brian.
I am too much Brian on the Twitter app. You mainly find me all over Fantasy Football Advice Network. I've got 5 shows a week I'm dropping for you there. I also do a little bit with Dynasty Pros and QB List as well if you're looking for written content. But I wouldn't look too far, folks. It's third grade level for a reason.
Heard that. That's you guys are busy. So I will say the best looking guest of all. I'm going to have you introduce yourselves, Bethany. Thank you for coming on. I met her through the Unwind group on Twitter, so you can find them. It's a group of women who just literally talk football and really just have chats all day long. It's really quite beautiful. I just got involved. So Bethany, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I also just got involved in that. I am Bethany L. Peters. That is on all platforms. That's what I am. But I'm not a fantasy football analyst. I am just a fantasy football player and have been for the past 10 years. And so I have just consumed and used that information to, win a few leagues here and there. And but on Twitter and Instagram and whatever, you will find me posting about my off the field activities, which is running marathons for charity for World Vision. And so, yes, you will see me post run recap video and pictures of children who need clean water and how you can go about helping them.
That's amazing. I was actually really interested in this World Vision. How can we go about supporting World Vision? Do you have any specific place that we should go, or should we just look them up and donate?
Go to my link.
Yeah.
my links would be on my Twitter profile. I'm running the Berlin and the Tokyo marathons this year, or this and next year. And you can either sponsor a child on there, or you can donate money to bring kids clean water for life. And so both of those things are welcome. My Berlin marathon's in 18 days. And yes, just go to my Twitter handle, go to the link on there, and you'll see little boxes that say like support me or sponsor a child. It should be easy.
Right on. And like she said, you can find her at Bethany L. Peters. That is an extensive resume. Thank you for joining us. So we're going to jump right into it, guys. So we're going to start off just because this is the Queen's Ransom League. I'm going to go in. We're going to share the screen. We're just going to talk about the winning matchup and the one who scored the highest in our league. Her name is Football Chick Chat. Actually, Albert's in the house. This is one of our favorite fans always here. So I want to say hello. Shout out to this man. So real quick, I just want to go in and show you guys what we've got going on for our top matchup. So Football Chick Chat went up against Stepmom Lauren. You guys are probably familiar with her on Twitter. I'm sure you've heard or seen of her on FTN last year. But yeah, so I mean, with this matchup, 174 points. It's a very simple league. We're a single QB PPR. But I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts on her drafting because it looks pretty good. So Brian, if you go in and analyze her team just a little bit, obviously we had a hiccup with McCaffrey, but on Football Chick Chat side here, we've got some players that are going to be out. So you tell me what you think. I'm going to scroll through real quick. And
right now we're playing the in and out game because between McCaffrey and Odunze, it looks like both of them are going to be missing some time. So hopefully that depth's pretty good. But Kamara looks like he's in line just to continue to eat. Can't be too upset with that one.
Yeah, and then on the right, sorry, Chick Chat's on the right. This is our last
on the right. Sorry,
I apologize. No,
that's
my fault. So we've got Jordan Love, Achane, Mixon, obviously was amazing, and then Tyreek Hill, you can't go wrong there. Zay Flowers, Travis Kelce. We've got Jaden Reed, Tyler Lockett, Butker, and then her bench isn't terrible. It's not great either. But yeah, so now if you were in this position, I should just go to her main team.
She stole Jacoby Myers from you, I see.
Yes, she did. I was drafting live, guys. It was difficult. So Bethany, if you were this manager, how would you feel about Achane potentially being out next week? I mean, are you feeling like you needed to hit the waivers hard? I don't want to go into what she actually picked up.
Yeah, I would feel bad about this. Yeah, because Jordan Love is out and Achane is a game time decision, right? And hopefully Tyreek doesn't get arrested again. But who's on her bench? I mean,
all right, yeah, let's get it. Sorry, I went a little quick there.
I would go to the San Francisco depth chart with the RBs.
Yeah. So yeah, she's basically got. I mean, we've got Musgrave, so we don't have any RBs besides Tajay and Dameon Pierce, but I'm not sure if that's even relevant. It might be later in the season, but at the moment. But yeah, so I mean, this is who took the number 1 spot this week. She beat out the champion from last year, and I just wanted to show her off a little bit because I feel like everybody should have a feature when they win, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
This week.
Huh?
I said she's in trouble this week.
We'll give that a little, maybe a little highlight later, and see how she's gonna pivot from this situation, but. Okay, so we went over Queens real quick. All right, so I want to jump in with you guys. I want some expert advice from you about Thursday night matchup since it is Wednesday. How are we feeling about Bills at Dolphins? Brian, you want to kick us off?
I wish we didn't have injuries. I make sure I click that every time I play Madden. I turn injuries off. It makes the game so much more fun. Why Goodell doesn't do that each and every year, I have no idea. But yeah, Mostert's missing the game, obviously. Bethany said, we're got Achane game time decisions, so Wilson's going to be started up. But the wide receivers, I think Waddle and Hill, those are auto starts. It's the wide receivers on Bills that are putting me in spins. Coleman led in receptions. You still have Shakir and Curtis Samuel there. Like, what is to be done with these wide receivers? I think is the real conundrum here.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I don't know. I think Bethany, you had mentioned you had some thoughts on the Bills wide receivers.
Oh, I don't, but I have thoughts on the kickers. I don't
know about it.
Kickers anymore, but shout out to Denny Carter. He's my fantasy analyst who has taught me about kickers. So this game has a high over-under, so there's a high implied team total, especially for Miami. So this is like a home, and being favored and high implied team total is a recipe for a good kicker. So Sanders is good in that, and Tyler Bass isn't bad either. So, I mean, at the waiver wire I was looking at recently for a friend, they were both open. So, I think
Sanders. Yeah, I do believe that Sanders is. I have him in a league, and I was like, I like to stream kickers, so I like to see for best matchup. And there's plenty of opportunity for him to get those points for you this week. I was looking at the matchup. I'm like, do I really want to test that? Because it could be, it could be a high scoring game, but it also could be a low scoring game. I mean, it all just depends. I don't know. I feel like they're going to be in Miami Heat, even though it's at night. So there's just a lot of factors that I kind of looked into for that as well. But a lot of people don't talk about kickers anymore. So I think it's essential and important that we do bring it up because they are in a lot of leagues. So
I don't even have any leagues with kickers, but I still like to think about it.
We spend 30 minutes every night or every Tuesday in my house. My wife's like, all right, let's look at the waiver wire. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm looking at this running back. She goes, no. Kicker's the important spot. I get 15 points every week, Brian. We're going to focus here. And sure enough, we spend plenty of time on kicker and defenses every week.
It's the way to do it.
I swear it's because I think we're more confident, obviously, in our skilled positions, right? We're able to we've already analyzed that situation. We were watching the games, but then we're like, what did the kickers do? We know what defenses, but what did the special teams exactly do? And you have to go back and really look at it. And it does take up a lot more time than you expect.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think I want to go back to, the Bills wide receiver core. I mean, Bigz, who are you, who's your number 1 starter? Is it Shakir? Are you going, which direction? Coleman, I feel like he's going to have an uptick in targets, And I do think that they're going to integrate him into the game more. But I mean, I think it's just quite questionable. What are your thoughts?
I can't find my chart. I had a chart. I don't have a chart anymore, but I have another chart. So, I mean, a 49.5 point Vegas implied point total is pretty good. However, Miami is pretty good against the pass. I'm sitting Shakir this week. I really, Shakir and Samuel, really. Miami defends against the slot really well, and Coleman was the target leader. It's going to be the Coleman and Kincaid show, it looks like. And James Cook, I'm even kind of hesitant with. Also, the way that Buffalo went down real early last week. Miami just has a really good defense. They're, minus 21 opponent rushing yards per game, below average, and minus 11 passing yards. So they're gonna do whatever they can to suppress that Bills offense. And I'm not high on any of the Bills this week. Okay, now that concerns me for best ball because I feel like they're gonna just plug in these Bill receivers. Best ball's set and forget it. So I keep looking at them because I'm not used to them being in sleeper. So I'm like, why am I staring at this? No, we got Corey in the house, guys. What's up? Ask him questions. We're here. We're here to answer for you. Show us your stars, Corey.
Corey struggles typing in general, so asking questions out of him that might be a big. Yes, he does. He is our special friend. All right, so that leads us into obviously the Bills secondary. Now, are we? I mean, how do we? Okay, so I know we're not going to have a Miami running back. Like the backfield's going to be ugly. Is Jeff Wilson startable and like a flex? Obviously, do not start Jeff Wilson in your flex because it's a Thursday night game. But is he somebody that you would start considering if Achane and Mostert are both out? If they're both out, I would start Wilson. If Achane's still in there, I think Wright's the only one I would consider, and that's just for like a high upside swing if you're kind of looking at yourself as like the underdog in the week. Okay.
I'm starting Jeff Wilson. Either way, he got some time when Achane was on the field on Sunday and Mostert was out. He's gonna get the lion's share of the carries if Achane sits, and he's gonna be a pass catching option if Achane's in the game. So Buffalo isn't as good against the run this year. I'm going with Jeff Wilson. Okay. All right. What about you, Bethany? Do you have any shares of Jeff Wilson after waivers?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I agree with Brian in general, but it would depend on who else are my options.
Right. Depends how deep the league is, obviously. That's always the biggest concern. A lot of my leagues where everybody's available, obviously it's a short bench and a very short IR. So, we're just in predicaments all week. Don't panic, guys. Don't panic. Apparently Corey says he knows everything, but I don't know how I feel about that. And
he knows Tigers.
Yeah, He does know Tigers. So Bethany, just so you're aware, Corey used to work for the Tiger King before the Tiger King became the Tiger King. So I had to tell her. I had to. He really did work for him. He was like marketing director or something before.
I thought he was in one of the videos. He had like that tiger rug. He was in the cage crawling around. I thought,
those were Joe Exotic's personal videos that weren't supposed to get out, Brian.
That's what it was. I knew he said something about don't share this, but I didn't know what he meant. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what those words mean.
Thanks for coming, Corey.
So Bethany's a Bears fan too. You found another Bears fan. I did not. She's a Keenan Allen fan, right? Do you want to explain you have jerseys from your players?
I don't have jerseys for all the players because I'm not a millionaire.
Right.
But I'm just a fantasy player who is an NFL fan because I play fantasy. So I don't really have a team, but I live in Chicago. So it's a good thing to wear around here. Plus, Team World Vision is orange and turquoise. So it's a good fit for that. And
that's a win-win. I like that.
I'm about to go to Berlin and want to bring something from Chicago because if I see anybody else from Chicago, I want to connect with them. And
stand out. See, that's what it's about. Corey, apparently Brian told you that in confidence. So sorry. All right.
I won't tell anybody, Corey.
So there's another place, anybody watching, all two of you, and then more later, hopefully. We have a fantasy football advice. I'm sorry, the Fantasy Sports Network app. We have Advice Network. Hi, I have words. We have an app for you guys. We're on there. Everybody, you can go on there and ask questions, answer questions. You can be a part of different groups. We have a betting headquarters. We have everything that you need all in one place. And that's for all sports. That's for baseball and football. To me, that's all sports, but that's just because I'm a weirdo. So I am going to introduce you guys to the ad for that real quick while we take a quick little break.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
All right. Now that we got the commercial out of the way. All right, let's talk about a little bit of news real quick, guys. So Chicago's outlook. I know I'm a Chicago fan, but that was an abysmal showing of the Chicago offense. I had a feeling it was going to happen because I've been doing this for 37 years. So for me, it was not new, and I did not have hype on my team. And I actually have maybe drafted 1 or 2 Bears players on all of my leagues. So with that being said, Bigz, how are you feeling about the Bears moving forward? I know that they need to structure a little bit, but is defense going to have to carry them for the first 4 or 5 games?
I don't know about have to, but they're going to. Their defense is really good. I like the matchup this week against Houston. The Bears, I mean, Rome Odunze being hurt is kind of a problem. Keenan Allen dropping balls is a problem. Caleb Williams growing pains is a problem. Roshan Johnson being Kendre Miller is a problem, but they should be okay. I have DJ Moore as a start this week in our FSAN start sit show. I like Caleb to work through his thing, and he's gonna find guys. He's gonna do it. He found Keenan Allen in the end zone. It was just an unfortunate and uncharacteristic drop for Keenan. So if I was a Bears fan, I wouldn't be as worried about the Bears as I am worried about the Raiders as a Raiders fan. So I think you might be able to surprise some people this week. Houston allows a lot of passing yards, and they suppress the run. So if I'm looking at Swift, I'm fading him, but I'm going with DJ Moore and a nice day from Caleb Williams. He'll probably throw a couple touchdowns and find the end zone. So.
Let's aim for 100 yards, and then we can go for 2 touchdowns, okay?
We got to lower our expectations.
I mean, it can happen. Shane Waldron knows what he's doing.
Does he? That's my biggest question.
Don't ask Seahawks fans, but I think he does.
I'm actually really concerned about Shane Waldron. That's our biggest issue, right? I mean, we had Luke Getsky last year. Now, Shane Waldron. I'm like,
loose.
Yeah.
Guy driving the train. Let's kick him off the tracks. I'm a Colts fan. That's where he came from. He shouldn't be leading guys. That's why Cliff Kingsbury's not a head coach anymore. Some of these guys are great football minds, but they should not be leading people. They're just not that type of personality. And I think Eberflus and that Chicago Bears offense is exactly what that is. Unfortunately, I feel like Caleb Williams is going to have some growing pains over the next couple of years until they get that stabilized.
Yeah, I agree. Corey said the only Swift that he's liking right now is named Taylor.
Shout out to
Taylor.
Huh?
Who's Swift Taylor?
Oh, it's Swift Taylor. I don't know.
Miss Kelsey, if you're nasty.
And then the other concern as well, I mean, again, going up against Houston, it's just one of those things where I feel like, I mean, I know DJ Moore's a start, but I mean, Houston looked pretty explosive. And can our defense hold? Can the Bears hold Houston? I mean, I just feel like almost all of the players on Houston are a must start this week. I mean, are you guys starting? Okay, so Bethany, do you have any shares of Tank Dell? Are you starting Tank Dell this week? I know that he had a low game last week.
In my best ball league, I'm definitely starting Tank Dell. If the computer selects him at the end of the week.
Yeah, right. How about you, Brian? Is Tank Dell a start? I mean, I know we know Nico's a start. I know that Mixon's obviously a start. We'll talk about him a little bit later.
I think he's a start for sure. It's going to be one of those where he has up and down weeks, but his ceiling is so much higher than guys like Stephon Diggs. I know Stephon Diggs got the 2 touchdowns, but his air yards last week was only 9 air yards, opposed to the other 2. Tank Dell and Collins had over 100. I think one had 113, one had 120. These are the guys we want to be betting on. Stephon Diggs, he's always been a touchdown guy, so he's going to fall into the end zone several times, just enough to make us mad, take something away from Mixon maybe. But I think all in all, you're going to be so much happier with Tank Dell over the course of the season.
I agree.
Not this week. Chicago allows only 12.4 points to the slot, 29.8 points per game to the outside receivers.
Wait, per game, or you mean last week?
Points per game allowed, 12.4 to the slot. I'm sitting Tank Dell. I'm going with Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs might steal one, and Joe Mixon is a sit.
Okay, we're going to talk about Mixon later, so we're not going to bring that up right now.
I keep trying to do it, and you keep telling me not to.
We're not Mixon. We can't talk about Mixon yet.
Okay, I won't talk about Mixon yet.
Part of the veteran segment. That's amazing. I really like that. Now that's going to keep us holding on for what's next. All right, so Kirk Cousins and his wide receiver core. Obviously, we saw the Kirk Cousins issues, him not being able to plant on that power foot, right, and get the ball out. We did see, obviously, the uptick that we were looking for from Pitts. I mean, with, being, on the field at 100%. I mean, he was there for 100% of the snaps, I believe. And so how are we feeling about Kirk Cousins? Are we going in the direction of London? Are we concerned about London? Are we concerned about Mooney? I don't know if Bethany has any thoughts on this.
Well, one of the analysts I follow is JJ Zacharyson, the late round quarterback. And he has on his 15 transactions that came out yesterday, Drake London as a hold or buy. So he says, let's not get too pessimistic about him. His ADOT was 8.7 this week. And so his peripherals, as the kids say, are good. So we should, I would start him.
Okay. What about you guys on the wide receiver core over there? How are we feeling with their matchup as well?
Vegas has 21 points implied for the Falcons. I don't think they're going to get that on the ground against Philadelphia, although it is Bijan. But I do like the wide receivers. I'm smashing Mooney this week. Philadelphia, 33.9 points per game allowed to the slot, 9.2 to the outside. So sorry, that's Atlanta's defense. Dang it. Screwed up again.
It's not Mixon. It's not.
Devontae Smith is a smash. No. I was looking at the wrong numbers. Anyway, Philadelphia does give up passing yards, so I'm not worried about the wide receiver core. I am worried about the number of targets that Darnell Mooney saw last week. I do like him, and I think that a top 24 finish going into the season was, if not just slightly unrealistic, certainly attainable for somebody who's done it before and in a Kirk Cousins led offense. But Kirk didn't look great, so I'm hedging, and my blinds just fell off the window.
I already knew what that was because it's happened to me. I was like, all right. I thought it was something here.
The Kirk Cousins slander. Goodness. I thought it was just happening in my head. Everything's exploding over here.
No, absolutely. The Kirk Cousins situation is worrisome. I mean, I have him in Superflex everywhere, and it's just because it happenstance of last year and whatever. But I've definitely picked up Penix. It's really difficult to. I mean, we know that recovering from an Achilles is it takes so much time and effort, especially when your body is older and it's worn down. I mean, we saw him on quarterback last year. His body has taken a toll and he's been destroyed. So it's just a little scary to see what happens next. Cause we have all this hope for Bijan. Obviously he's a must start no matter what, but and this Atlanta team, but I'm really happy that Mooney is somewhere now where he's going to get these targets and then have a potential better year. Cause the Bears did him no justice either.
No justice.
So no justice. And so with that, we are going to lead into our final segment of the night. We're going to have a short episode today, about 35 minutes, and it's Honor Thy Vets. So I'm going to show you guys a little short video of some veterans that drafted either during 2001 or after that are either still in service or they've regretfully passed but I just want to honor them today and just show a little love. So I'm gonna just wait if I can find it. Sorry, I'm still learning to navigate, guys. It's fun. No worries.
She's new.
I'm new here. Don't worry. I remember my first day.
You need a producer.
I know. I'm gonna have you do it next time.
You find one. Let me know.
Oh, that's sad. I can't find it. Okay, so we're going to show it at the end because it's not here and I don't know what happened. So, but honoring thy vets, we will honor them at the end of the show. But I want to talk about our veterans that did us justice last week that I wouldn't say that everybody was down on. I feel like there was definitely a mixed bag of opinions and feelings. But let's talk about Baker Mayfield, 24 for 30, 289 yards. We had 0 INTs. Brian, what did you think about Baker's performance?
I just thought about all the Cleveland Browns fans that are sitting there wondering what life would be if they didn't ship him off for a bag of peanuts and they didn't trade everything for Deshaun Watson. Where could they be? But Baker, dude, I'm so happy for the guy. Like his career started off so hot, breaking the touchdown record as a rookie, winning a playoff game for this town that so badly needed one, got kicked out of there, bounced around, and now he's found his home. He got paid, and he came back showing that last year may not have been a fluke. Chris Godwin back in the slot, catching touchdowns, looking great. Mike Evans said, hey, Hall of Fame, here I come. I'm going to catch 2 touchdowns. But Baker Mayfield, he looked elite. Playing against Washington defense, so maybe we manage expectations just a little bit. But overall here, I'm so happy to see Baker kicking because we need quarterbacks in this league. Do we have like 16 good quarterbacks in the league? I don't know, maybe. But it looks like Baker's making a fight to be on that list of good quarterbacks.
I agree. Bethany, what are your thoughts on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers?
Well, I'm actually fading Baker. Sorry, Brian. And the reason is because I don't think his interception rate is going to be so low going forward. One of the other experts I follow is Dr. Ed Fang, who does betting analytics, and he focuses on something that he calls the bad ball rate as the biggest predictor of interceptions. And while Baker was really low last year in interceptions, he was higher than average in bad ball rate, and that is just going to catch up to him. And so last week he had 2 bad balls, which is not egregious at all. It's not, it's not great. It's not bad, but I just see more interceptions in this future. And I don't know if I put him in one of the top 16, Brian.
Ooh, okay. I like that. All right, so then we're gonna jump into
I want to say real quick. I
know you love McMillan too, so let's talk about Baker McMillan.
I really re-looked at my chart and I was
Joe Mixon.
I was wrong that I was reading it wrong. I was reading it correctly. Darnell Mooney is a smash. Atlanta against Philly's defense, Philly allows 33.9 points per game to slot receivers. Now, as far as Tampa Bay, they have the best matchup this week against Detroit, 32.3 points per game to the slot. That's Chris Godwin, and 27.3 to the outside. That's Mike Evans. Baker may throw an interception. That was his thing before he got to Tampa, was rolling out on a bootleg and throwing it right to the defense. He did that all the time, and I used to make fun of him for it until last year when he kind of turned it around and started making better choices. As long as Jalen McMillan starts getting incorporated into that offense, he only had 3 targets, I want to say, the other day, but one of them was a touchdown. If those 3 wide receivers get cooking, Baker Mayfield's going to have a huge year, and it's going to start against Detroit.
McMillan dropped the touchdown, too. He had a wide open one there in the first quarter that just would have been great.
Yeah, and it's wild watching all these first week jitters, right? I mean, they're just as nervous. Like I for the first time, I actually got to go to a Bears game. I'm in Nashville now, so I got to go to a Bears bar. The Titans, there's Titans fans everywhere, and it's like just to experience. I was having jitters just by being in a different state, wearing a different jersey, right, in their hometown of the team I'm playing. So I'm like looking at Caleb, and I'm like, this poor kid, right? They throw him out there the way that they did, and it's like they did the same thing with Justin Fields, and watching you've got these rookies out here getting these bombs, right? And that one slip can take an ego out, so it's just a little nerve-wracking. I feel for them. I don't know, maybe it's because I have empathy, I'm a woman, or if it's just because it's like, holy cow, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of money on the line, like for everybody and themselves, so I know that's not crazy. Huh?
And us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Exactly. Okay. All right, Bigz, it's time. We're gonna talk about Joe Mixon. You ready?
But we're out of time, everybody. We got to wrap it up here. Oh, sorry. Bad,
No, I'm really happy with his performance. I was really in on him this year, and I knew that with Damian Pierce hasn't showed up, and they haven't utilized him at all. So it's like, I mean, he's missing in Cincinnati, and you felt it. We felt it in Cincinnati. So, and we felt them really benefiting off of his large size in Houston. So we have 30 for 159, 5.3 yards per carry and a touchdown. Is this sustainable?
No, I don't think it is. The Bears have the best defense against the run at this point, considering last season plus this season's small sample size. They allow 33 yards per game fewer than average. I don't see a big game for him. I think it's going to be a lot of wide receiver touches and not a lot for Mixon. I was out on him in Dynasty just because he's age 28 this year. But but for redraft purposes and everything, I like week 1 was great. I just think that the Bears are gonna subdue him. He might still be an RB3. He might still be like flex worthy, but I don't think he's going to finish in the top 24 this week.
Okay. Brian, any thoughts on that? Or you feel all right? We're good.
I agree with everything across the board. I think Mixon, he looked good, but he was also playing the Colts defense, who just looked horrendous. Had it been an average defense, I'm sure he would have had a lot closer to 4 yards of carry on that. So I think that's kind of inflated a little bit there on that one. So I'm really excited to see, the rubber meets the road kind of a thing when you've got such, the highest, run per carry in the league last week against, as Bigz said, one of the best defenses against the run. So I'm excited to see where that puts us. Hopefully a lot of air yards. Hopefully Caleb Williams can get on track, get throwing to his one healthy wide receiver now. And then, of course, the trio in Houston, love to see them go wild.
Yeah. And how bad for Damian Pierce that if that 5.3 yards per carry from last week is a result of the offensive line getting beefed up, now Damian Pierce finally has an offensive line to run behind and he's benched. Like that sucks. But yeah.
Bring on Cam Akers.
It really does. All right. So our last veteran that we're focusing on this week is Rhamondre Stevenson. I don't know. The value of this man in drafts is absolutely insane for his performance. And again, sustainability is a question mark, right? But 25 for 120, 4.8 yards per carry and a tutty. I don't know. Bethany, did you have any Rhamondre and did you plug him in?
I actually don't think I have any Rhamondre, but I was excited for 78.1% rush share last week, and he also got 13% of the team's targets, but he didn't have that high of a rush share once last year. So I'm expecting that to regress. But again, if he's in my best ball lineup, I'll play him.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully that's happening. All right. So how are we feeling about the Patriots for week 2? How are we feeling about the run game for them? Brian, do you have any?
It's the Patriots, man. If they weren't confusing back when Bill Belichick was there, he's gone and we still don't know what to think of him. I think it was 3.5 or 4.5 wins for the entire season is all we were going to see from them, and they already cranked one out. So playing the Seahawks, another question mark, because did they just play a rough Denver defense? Or did really nothing get fixed and we're going to see problems here? I think Rhamondre is going to have a decent enough day. I don't think anything crazy. Brissett needs to slow down on all the running. He's way too old to be running like that, and there are way too many pieces we'd love to see fantasy relevant for him to be selfishly taking all those yards and carries. So hand it off to Rhamondre, dump it off there, throw it to your new rookie wide receivers, do something, but quit being so damn selfish because I'm not starting you, Brissett.
I'm not starting you, Brissett. I got some questions from some. Oh, hold on, I'm missing the chat here. I got some questions from some ladies of mine, and they're like, "Oh my God, I lost Love, and I'm in a 16 team, and it's Brissett and Jones." I'm like, Brissett, pick him up now. I was like, that's the only option.
I don't know. Daniel Jones has a really, really good matchup this week. And I'm seeing breakout game for Malik Neighbors and Wandale with a big game too.
I do hear you on that, but when it comes to long term, I mean, obviously, hopefully, Love is situation. I mean, I see 3 to 4 weeks.
2 weeks.
3.
2.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, he is young, right? Spring chicken.
Yeah.
You sprain your MCL anyway. I'm not sure what that means.
Well, it's the medial collateral ligament, and it's in the knee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Have you? Brian, did you say you had sprained ACL before or an MCL? No, am I just making that up?
I've torn my ACL and both menisci.
Oh, okay.
Times. And I have
shout out knee surgery.
Yeah, 5 knee surgeries.
I did my patellar tendon.
Crap! I've only got 2 knees. That's impressive.
And you're still running marathons?
Yes.
You're insane.
I do want to get back to Rhamondre if I can. He's been one of my most drafted running backs this year, especially in leagues where, like, if I miss out on Breece Hall or Jonathan Taylor or somebody like that early, I'll just wait. And as soon as Rhamondre's round comes up, I've been hitting him everywhere through the drafts. So last week was really nice to see. And then this week, although the Patriots aren't supposed to score a whole lot, Seattle does funnel the run and gives up more than average against the run too. So part of his big thing this season was with Zeke Elliott in the backfield last year, with the Patriots' problems, he had lower efficiency numbers than his career average. So he was due for a positive regression this year. His efficiency is going to be back towards his career numbers, and that just means good things. And we saw it last week with a terrible offense. He was the offense. So I like him, especially in this matchup against Seattle.
Heard that. All right, we got a question in the chat, guys. Adam Weber, drop Taysom Hill for Colby Parkinson full PPR. You say yes.
I say yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I drafted more Colby Parkinson than I drafted more Parkinson than I drafted Taysom Hill because the Rams incentivized that tight end position. They knew Higbee was going to be out. They gave Parkinson the bag, and he had some targets. He had more targets than Higbee had been getting in the previous years. So I like that. And you never know with Taysom. He's so nebulous. You don't know if he's going to have more carries in a game or more passes or more catches, and you can't really rely on it. So unless it's in like the Scott Fish Bowl or something like that, I tend to stay away from Hill.
Yeah, and I think I will agree with you on that, because again, when they get paid, there's obviously something to look at there. But also with Puka and his current injury and the unknown, the uncertainty of that, we should see an uptick in Parkinson's usage as well. So I don't know, Brian, do you have any other thoughts, or you agree?
Yeah, I'm right there with it. Taysom Hill is like a break glass for an emergency. So maybe Achan goes into this week like he's going to play. You start him, and he gets 1 snap and 0 points. I'd probably play Taysom Hill then over Parkinson, but that's just because Taysom Hill has the chance any week to give you 25. Parkinson probably won't ever break 20. But at the same time, Taysom can give you 0, and Parkinson will at least give you that floor of 4 or 5 points. And sometimes, hell, that would have given you a top 7 tight end last week. Parkinson was, I believe, top 6 last week. So, battle of the lineup and the matchup. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, just you have to look at your opponent for that situation. Obviously, look at your next couple opponents and see where you stand. And then, Bethany, I want to ask you a quick question, and then we'll end. I have the video uploaded to honor our veterans. There's only a couple, but I'm looking forward to honoring them. Bethany, when it comes to dropping and picking up players for your, let's say, redraft, right? Obviously, we're not talking about dynasty, but when it comes to dropping and picking up, do you hit the panic mode, or are you more than willing to wait and see what happens with the players that you drafted at a certain position? Like if you spent money on them, if you spent heavily, how do you feel about?
Okay, then do I want to? I think. Oh, this is tough. Back in 2019, I drafted Juju Smith-Schuster in my first pick, 111, and I kept him for a long time, and then just didn't start him for a long time. But it was hard for me to drop him because I had this emotional capital in him because he was my first pick. But then finally, at the very end, I did actually just cut ties and drop Juju entirely. But I would say it does take me a while before I would do something like that. But I think if it's the starters I drafted, I'm more likely to give them a chance and hold on. If it's like just this kind of take a peek person I just drafted at the end, it's like, okay, well, he didn't do well in week 1 or week 2. Okay, he's gone. And just see, because I can get too interested in like the other backup running backs that become starters on the waiver wire that you have to drop somebody to pick them up. So
yeah, let's talk about Amari. What is it? Amari DeMarcado from last year. That was my shit show, guys. Okay.
Treylon Burks. Took me 2 years to drop Treylon Burks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyler still got him.
When you have the jersey, it's kind of hard to drop the guy.
It is tough. It is tough. I would still be holding on to certain players that are hanging in my closet. All of theirs.
Come on.
All right.
I do remember.
Go ahead, Bethany.
Oh, sorry. When we were talking about September 11th earlier, and we're going to watch the video, I do remember the day where I was when I found out about 9/11, but I also remember exactly where I was when I found out that Andrew Luck retired. So they both are etched in my memory. I had just drafted Andrew Luck in a Living the Stream alumni league, and yes, anyway.
And then you found out
9/11 was like.
But hey, it's moments we will never forget, guys. And if you have any questions about start sits, if you have any questions moving forward about whatever you need, you can find us on the FSAN app. All right, we are there for all of your start sits. We are there for all your waiver wire. We are there for if you need to complain or if you need to cry or talk about your league mates. We're there for it.
And don't forget to catch Breakfast with Bigz on Sunday morning at 8 and 11, 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern. But I did want to say, include any other vets you want to feature in this segment. Shout out Saquon Barkley, 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And an open question for the three of you, over under on Saquon's touchdowns this year, 45.5.
Over.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's on pace for what, 30, 20, 51. So, yeah.
I know, and it's funny because I'm really bad at over-unders, even though I keep doing it. So I'm going to get better. I swear by it. But I almost won $1,000 the other day, but Travis Kelce didn't really play.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, that's how they get you. I'd rather lose all of my.
I had the underdog special with Travis Kelce over 0.5 yards.
Yeah,
nice.
But I thought
Travis Kelce.
Was it receptions and touchdowns, or was it? That was the issue I think I had, was I was not looking at it properly. I was like, that was dumb. Because
I always have to double check my props picks on underdog, because sometimes I'll pick like 18 strikeouts in 6 innings, and then I picked the under 18 and I go, what did I do?
Yeah.
So I go through twice.
You got to like open them up too, because you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, wait, let me look and see what this actually is. So again, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't, guys. Stay tuned for after this show. We have Operation Domination with Dan Mader and crew, a phenomenal show. And Brian, we got you on here, what, 5 days a week on the network?
Yes, I've got my live stream on Tuesday for the waiver wire, 3:30 Eastern, and then I'm dropping a show Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. So check us out about midday. I've got something me and Brennan cooking up with you. Not this Brennan, the other Brennan, cooking up every week.
All right. Oh, wait, one more question. I can't leave him hanging. Sorry, guys. All right, we've got Noah Bonecutter. All right. Parkinson or Goddard? Parkinson.
I'll go Parkinson.
Yeah.
What about you, Bethany?
I'm indifferent. Just flip a coin.
That's probably the wise choice.
I'm also a biased Goddard hater. So
Somebody else.
Consideration.
I've been burned too many times, Noah. All right. So Parkinson it is. I'm going with fresh blood. All right. We're going to hit this video. We're going to honor our veterans. I don't want to disrespect them, so let me not. All right. I uploaded the wrong video, but so that was the one without sound.
Is there sound?
Yep.
I was gonna say you sang a song for the video.
The sound
right?
was in our hearts.
It was. You guys heard it, right? It was. I was Yeah, it was everywhere. So you guys, it's my first day, technically, kind of. So I appreciate all of you. Again,
You're
come
like
back
Caleb
next
Williams.
week.
Right?
Yes,
93
exactly.
yards.
I am a true Bears fan. So I appreciate everybody coming in. Bethany, if you want to support her, go to her Twitter page and find World Vision and support her. She's going to Berlin and running a marathon, and then come find us on FFAN. We'll catch you guys next week. We've got National Ceiling Fan Day, and we're going to see who ran circles around defenses.
Nice.
Yeah. Catch you guys later.